Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for the opportunity to address you today with this brief message. Allow me to start by welcoming CEPI's sixth sustainability report. My hope is that your industry will continue to be vocal in calling for a transition to a much more resource-efficient economy and to show by example. Faced with rising material costs, volatile raw material prices, and increasing import dependency, the only way forward to a competitive and sustainable economy and a resilient society is a transition to a more circular economic model. An economy that promotes product designs and systems for reuse, repair, remanufacturing, and recyclability, where waste is pumped back into productive use as a raw material. You know something about this. Paper has achieved 70% of recycling rates. Fibers are used and reused. If we look at the bigger picture, the figures speak for themselves. Valuable materials are still too often lost for recycling or reuse when mixed with other waste. Today in the European Union, we consume 15 tons of materials annually per person. We generate 5 tons of waste per person, and nearly half of that end up in landfills. This is completely illogical in the European economy, where we are faced with increasing pressures on primary resources and where we are also dependent on materials and energy imports. It is therefore fairly obvious, but also not so easy, that we move towards a recycling society and a circular economy. Taking better care of our resources is not just an environmental imperative. It is essential to Europe's future growth and prosperity. Moving towards a circular economy is one of the best ways to generate jobs that will never be delocalized. We cannot afford to miss out on much opportunities for economic growth and job creation. So, how can we achieve this objective? Here in the European Commission, we have some tools. We are strengthening waste legislation and targets, and we are not just focused on the waste phase. We are building waste policy into the context of circular economy and resource efficiency. The circular economy package that I will present in 2014 will look at the whole loop, promoting products that are designed for reuse and recyclability, promoting systems and business models that are resource efficient, making markets work for secondary materials, and getting the prices right. Policymakers can create good framework conditions, but it is industry that will deliver the transformation, either the more dynamic existing companies or new market actors. The engagement of CEPI to making waste a resource and your active involvement in the pilot phase for the development of the environmental footprint rules makes me think that you will rather be among the survivors and leaders. As I have said, the recycling rate of paper in the European Union has passed the 70% figure. That is commendable and an example to others. But to go further, we must strengthen the market for recyclable materials. Our goal for the paper sector must be to increase the availability of high-quality recovered paper for reprocessing in paper mills. There is currently a debate within the industry, with Parliament and many member states about how best to achieve that. When waste is seen as a resource, and indeed it is no longer waste, but a secondary raw material, we are faced with battles for control over those materials along the chain. Economic interests are at stake. I see this as something of a sign of success. But it is our job in the European public interest to make sure that the markets for materials work properly and that the right incentives are in the circular loops at the right places. The Commission will continue to take this task very seriously. Whatever the fate of our latest proposal for end-of-waste criteria for paper, we need to continue working together to come up with practical and effective tools to achieve even higher recycling rates. Ladies and gentlemen, your sixth sustainability report shows that you take this seriously and that you are moving in the right direction. I wish you a successful event today, and I look forward to reading of your further progress in the seventh CEPI Sustainability Report. Thank you for your attention.